Greetings, EDU 500. I hope your summer is going well. We're about halfway through now. This is the week 5 video, and I must say I'm very impressed with all of you keeping on top of your weekly assignments, getting those in on time. Your research proposal draft, all of those sections are moving along very, very well, and I'm most impressed with the substantive feedback that you are providing to each other. I'm assured that the final research proposals are going to be of very high quality, due mostly to the feedback that you all are giving each other and the hard work that each of you as individuals are putting into them. I will mention that, as you might know, the master's programs that you are in have an optional thesis, and this project proposal could be your thesis if you choose to do that. And we can discuss that if you have any interest in completing a thesis for your master's program. I wanted to mention briefly what's coming up and also refer back to the week 4 assignment that I have taken a look at today and have just posted the grades. First of all, in the first exercise about designing the talking about the study related to absenteeism and how to design your sample. That's essentially what you have to do for your own project, which is due on Saturday. So think about those questions that you answered for exercise 1 and try to answer them for your own project. Several weeks ago, I talked about how you might do a case study, or you might be doing interviews or narrative research, and I wanted you to look at, or action research, and I wanted you to look at those chapters of the textbook sooner rather than later. This is really now where you're finally going to be talking about that. In that section on data sources and sampling, you'll really describe the context of the school that you're sampling or researching or studying, or schools or school districts or county, whatever it is that you're working with. You'll want to describe that in terms of socioeconomic status, race, all of the different factors, identity factors that are listed in the research sample, proposal assignment guide on D2L. And then you'll want to talk about your method of sampling. And if it's a quantitative study, you'll want to talk about how you're doing some sort of sampling like stratified or simple random sampling or cluster sampling, etc. And if you're going to do something more qualitative, you'll talk about how you're doing, how you're going to be choosing your participants for the study. The future section, a week from now, that's due, is your procedures and instruments for data collection. And that also is where, if you're doing more of an action research project, where you'll spell out the intervention that you're taking in your classroom. So, for example, if you're doing something where you're changing how the students are going to be engaging with the content, you want to study its effectiveness, I want to see in that section the paragraph which really describes what it is you're doing differently and then going to study the effects of. Some of you are doing projects where you're really just studying the status quo, in which case you aren't really doing an intervention, so you won't have any paragraph like that anywhere in your research proposal. I wanted to clarify where that's going to go in case if you were wondering. It's not coming up in this data sampling section that's due on Saturday. Final note is that I really, really enjoyed reading the second exercise where you discussed the instruments. And I mentioned to a few of you, but it really goes for all of you. Hopefully, if you're not going to end up using that exact instrument, you might be using it as inspiration for another instrument that you might sort of propose. You wouldn't be testing it out, really evaluating an actual instrument, but you could adapt the tool that you found in the database and then cite it in your work and say, I'm going to use an adaptation of whoever, etc., and their year of publication. And that will create a more robust and legitimate data collection tool. And again, that's not for this week's section that's due this Saturday. It's for next week's section. But I thought I would mention that so that you can think about how you're going to incorporate those instruments, if at all. And it's not required. It is a nice tool. It's some of the best studies I found do have a mixed methods approach where they do some quantitative and some qualitative. So if that is suitable for your research topic, I would suggest trying to think about some interviews and some rich quantitative data so you can see breadth and then you can focus in on some depth with individual participants. Sorry this video is a little bit longer than I expected, but I hope it was helpful. You're doing great work. Keep it up. Let me know what questions you have, and have a great week. Thanks for watching.